Today we'll be talking about used versus new. Should I buy a used car? Should I buy a new car? That's a very, very common question that I had to deal with when I worked at dealerships, right? And that's actually across all the brands. I worked for Mazdas, Rams, Jeep, and of course Hyundai. Okay, now this is a really concerning question for a lot of people, because you're making a decision of buying new versus used, and you're keeping your vehicle for the next minimum 3 to 4 years. You are signing, I don't want to say signing your life away, but you're signing on a lot of money. You're signing on the dotted line, and a mistake can cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So new versus used. Well, what I've noticed is, I'd say at least 60% of the buyers, at least 60% of the buyers, they make the decision of buying a new or a used car based on the wrong factors, on the wrong variables. I can't be making such a decision based on a 2 years vision or a 3-year vision. Okay, I have to think about in the next 3 to 5 years. So me thinking about new versus used, where yes, I am going to save money on depreciation when I buy a used vehicle, and if I were to buy a new vehicle, well, I'm gonna eat up all the depreciation up front. The moment the vehicle leaves the lot, it loses about 15 to 20%, unless you're buying a very specific model with a specific brand that does not lose your the value. So today I'm specifically mentioning about the popular brands. We're all buying the Rams, the Jeeps, the Fords, the Hyundais, the Toyotas, the Hondas, the Subarus. Did I miss any? No, I don't think I did. Please comment below if you think I missed any. So in my years, over 6 years now, I did leave the industry a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, like I was saying, but over 6 years having to deal with that question. Mazdas too. Yeah, I worked for Mazda as well. So having to deal with those customers, this is a very important question. And sometimes you think you're smart by beating depreciation because you're buying used. However, in your situation, new would be better. However, in somebody else's situation, a used would be better. Okay, so there will be fees on either side from the dealership. So we're talking buying from a dealership here, not from a private sale when it comes to used. We're comparing buying a used vehicle from a dealership versus buying a new vehicle from a dealership. Okay, so the problem is, I've noticed, is that people don't know which way should I go. If I think about the new car have fresh smell, that's one thing. It's not important, but hey, that's one thing we can talk about. But we're talking now finances, numbers, right? So just numbers, rates. If you think about interest rate, what's the interest rate on a new car? What, 4%, 5%, 6%? Toyota's now are at 5.6, I believe. Hyundai's at 4.9 and 5%. Some of the Rams, the Fords, the Jeeps are at a 0% or you get a manufacturer rebate plus dealership discount. So which one is it? And do the numbers. There is no emotions here. We're just gonna talk numbers, pure logic. The benefit of a new car, it has a low interest rate, versus a used car, it has a higher interest rate. Unless you have a line of credit, which gives you a lower interest rate than the dealership loan. Have an equity line of credit from your home where the interest rate is low. I did do a comparison the other day. I said, if I look at a $50,000 brand new car and a $1,000 brand new car, what would it be in 5 years? What it would depreciate to in 5 years? And I'm gonna take I'm not gonna specify a specific brand, but we can go into specific brands if you guys request that. So if you request me to go into specific brands, I can, go into very specific scenarios. So it's more accurate. But I'm gonna give you guys just a general idea. So we're buying a $50,000 car, brand new, in 5 years. Okay, this vehicle and instead of 50, it's going to be worth what? 36,000, 37,000. He lost about 15-20%. Maybe more, also more, right? 40%, 30 to 40%. It really depends on which brand, right? Now, if I were to look at the rate, I'm getting a better interest rate on a new car compared to a used car. Now, if I were to say, okay, you know what? How about I look at other factors? So other factors beside the interest rate. Because we said the interest rate would be higher on a used. With the used car at the higher rate, whatever I saved when it came to the depreciation, that's why I stayed away from a new car, because of the depreciation. I paid that in interest, because the interest is compounded, right, on those loans. So whatever money I try to save on the new car, I paid that in interest when it comes to a used car. The warranty. Well, a new car comes with a new 3-year warranty. That's the new 3-year warranty. That is the comprehensive. Okay, that's I'm old school, so I say bumper to bumper, which include the screens, the sensors, heated seats, right? Well, in 5 years, in our scenario, this is a 5 years that we're looking at, so we will be out of warranty. Depends on the vehicle. I am confident there are certain brands, even if you're out of warranty, you should not worry. As long as you're doing maintenance on time and you're doing your checks on time. But that's not the point today. Today is about used versus new. Now, looking at a 5-year loan on a used vehicle, right? That vehicle that you bought new for also a 5-year loan, you'll see the interest rate, the high interest rate on the used really might not justify you buying a used vehicle. Again, the brand would really determine that too. Would give it a closer, a clearer vision on which is the better way to go. And also how long you're keeping the car for, right? So there's a lot that goes into it. Now, in terms of your new car, so the new car have a fresh smell. I came to that point because I had one of my customers, he had a 3-year-old vehicle, and he saw some new cars in the showroom, and as you guys know, in the showroom they really do some very shiny lighting on the car, so that way it's really it's shining. So they use some wax. Every day they almost wax it every day. They clean it every day from outside. So, and the lights are positioned in a way that it looks like so pretty and it stands out. So a customer just bought a car just because it's a new smell. Okay, and he said, you know what? Oh, how much is going to be my payment? And I said, you know what? $300-400 a month, which is similar to what he pays now. But the trick here is that the customer had only 3 years left on his existing loan. However, with a new car, now he added an extra 2 years or 2.5. Some people are willing to do that, and willingly they are going to go for it. It's not a smart financial decision. So I made the list. I'll be posting this list for you guys, used versus new. So we talked about the warranty, we talked about the interest rate. As a new owner, you're the first one to own the car, so there's absolutely no accidents with that car, obviously. But we said you're taking all the depreciation all at once, right? Now there will be fees, dealership fees, with both the new and the used vehicle. Now, in terms of, I'm trying to focus with the camera here. Like, I'm having a hard time because, like I was saying, like I always do face-to-face with people or phone calls. It's really hard to focus with the camera, but I'm getting better every day at looking at the camera. So the way I look at it is that you gotta look at the total cost of ownership. This is what it comes back to. Total cost of ownership. Okay? Now, there's no emotions here. We're specifically talking logic. We're crunching numbers. Total cost of ownership. So with some vehicles, when you're doing that, a new versus used, it can be similar over like what, 5 years or 5.5 years time. So it's not just the MSRP, the sticker price that we look at, right? So again, in terms of used vehicle, a used vehicle, yes, as a new owner, and when I say a new owner, I mean like you're buying a new used vehicle, you'll have to really do a lot of checks. It's more risk, right? So, I know people are always against buying new cars, but a new car will save you a lot of headache. Like, if you're someone who have not bought, let's say, a private sale used car or a used car from a dealership, the nightmares I have seen in the private used car market, like a private purchase from somebody like you, and buying from a dealership, there can be nightmares with both. Okay, so if someone really doesn't know much about cars, I would just say go for new and have the peace of mind. So guys, sometimes you can't monetize everything. If we think about cars that very logically and all about saving and all about depreciation, everybody will be driving a Hyundai Accent. I mean, nothing wrong with the Hyundai Accent. They're actually a Hyundai Accent 09s and 010s. Oh my god, I sold one with 228,000 kilometers on it. 228,000. It was an Accent, I believe, a Hyundai Accent hatchback. When Hyundai, there were a point of time where Hyundai really made very good engines, and then things went down, and then they're trying to kind of build again the reputation and working on it. That's what Hyundai is doing right now. It left some sour taste in people's mouth at some point, but I have sold them. I mean, I've never had a Hyundai returned for an engine replacement. Whatever Hyundais I sold, never. I had one that returned for an engine replacement. Yeah, but long story short, again, guys, to all of you who own different brands, Beamers, Mercedes, Subaru, Volvos, Range Rover, Land Rover. Again, I'm talking more about the popular vehicle that are in the streets, like 60%, 70% of the time. The Toyotas, the Hyundais, the Subarus, the Mazdas, the Rams, the Fords, like the very everyday vehicle. Trucks as well, right? I mean, trucks, buying a new truck versus buying a used truck, right? I'll be doing a whole different video on that, because I did sell Ram trucks, and I sold new and used. Now used, I sold all type of used. Nissan trucks, I sold Ford F-150s, of course, GMC Sierra, Chevy, Silverado, but my focus was Rams, right? So used versus new. Unfortunately, the Rams, they lose way more value. They depreciate a lot compared to the F-150s, the Ford. And to be honest, the F-150 Fords are more reliable. Now, the older Rams, 2010, 2015, 2016, 2017, they're definitely way more reliable than today's Rams. Okay, the F-150s, I think they've done very well with their V8 engine, the Coyote engine. The F-150s have done very well. They had some recalls with the water pump, I believe, and the fuel pump. But the F-150s are definitely reliable trucks as well. Now, like again, it's a preference, right? Some people like the Rams, some people like the Fords. Again, your emotions, right? You're getting in the vehicle, you're driving the vehicle, and then you're feeling the vehicle, right? I can talk to you all about the numbers and how it works, but your emotions sometimes will be the deciding factor. And that's reality for some customers. Their emotions is the deciding factor. And it is what it is at this point. Now, also talking about used versus new, if you're buying an SUV versus a sedan versus a sports car, certain sports... Okay, let's not even go to sports cars. The other day I was doing the deal. I was helping a friend of mine buying a Toyota Camry. You guys won't believe it. and I'm sure you guys know this in Canada, the used Camry cost more than a new Camry, because a new Camry takes time to come in, takes longer, right? The used camera on the lot costed $3,000 to $4,000 more than a new Camry, or even a demo Camry, right? So you got to do your research, right? If you want to wait for the vehicle to come in, then you can just wait, right? You don't have to buy the used one that's on the lot, and that's specifically a Camry situation, right? Now, there's certain also, brands that if you buy them used, they're more, actually they're going to cost you more money. Also, there are certain brands that it's better that you buy the used models, like the 3-4-year-old models, so a 2022 versus a 2023 or even 2021. But also be careful of the 2021s, because this is when COVID hits, and some of these vehicles, when they were made new, they had no chips in them. Some of them had no chips. So some of them did not have a heated seat, for example, and there are other features too. I would recommend researching that if you're buying a new vehicle that was built during the COVID time, because there was also a huge chip shortage, right? But really, that's it for today, guys. Buying a new versus used. Again, so let's summarize that. Buying a new versus used. Look at the MSRP. Think about the depreciation. Think about the interest rate. Think about how much do you know about cars. Okay. Think about the maintenance that you'll have to do on a used car. Sometimes the maintenance can be like as simple as an oil change and brakes. That's it, right? That's it. Like, you don't have to worry about too many things, right? That the dealership will try to sell you warranty, right? Now, there are some vehicles I would definitely recommend having a 3 to 5 year warranty on if you're buying them used from a dealership. Some Beamers, Mercedes, some Subarus, specific sports vehicle as well. There are vehicles out there that definitely you need warranty for. And it depends, how much of a risk you're willing to take. So it's all about risk reward, right? Do I want to take that risk, or do I want to minimize my risk and take a warranty? And is the warranty negotiable? Yes, absolutely, it is negotiable. And I will be doing another video on how you can negotiate products at the finance manager office and negotiate rates. But that's it for today, guys. Really, like, I don't there's not much. I'm trying to give you guys as the most important valuable information I can put it in a video, and instead of making a 30-40 minute video. And please suggest if you guys like me to do longer videos, more breaking down things into like nitty-gritty stuff, I can. I'm just trying to giving like a general idea, not going in too much details. But that's it for today, guys. Again, think about, I want to end by this, the total cost of ownership. Keep this in your mind. Do the numbers at home. Please, I would love that you watch, subscribe, like my channel. If you want to put a comment, please put it down in the channel, in the comment section, and I'd love to answer any question you guys have. There's a big surprise coming soon. I'm gonna have a website soon. You guys stay tuned. Well, I said what the surprise is, so it's not even a surprise yet. So if you're watching this video, there is a new website coming soon, and I think it's not your average everyday website. It's gonna really help you put a deal together. Here you go. Like, I'm gonna give it all to you guys, right? Because I really want to help people. The way people shop for cars need to change. People need to realize and be aware that they need to stop getting ripped off, and they need to consult an expert that knows how the business runs and knows how can I know if a salesperson is saying the truth or if they're not. Again, I'm not bashing dealerships or salespeople. There's some are good, but majority are not good. I've been to dealerships. I sat in closed doors, in meetings, and there are things, if I said it to you guys, you won't even believe it. What managers say, what salespeople celebrate when they sell a car to someone, the seniors that comes to buy vehicles, that the vulnerable people that need help, that don't have experience in the car industry, that they think they're getting a good deal. They think they're getting a good interest rate. They think they've being looked after. You know, they think that the salesperson is doing what they're in their best interest. Is it really? Is it really, Mr. Salesperson or Miss Salesperson? Are you really doing what's best interest for your customer? My videos are going to answer all these questions. This is not going to be easy for me to do. I need the public support in this. I need the media support eventually. I do want to educate people. I do want to save people the hassle, the time, making sure they're getting into a vehicle that is the right vehicle. Not a vehicle just they bought because it's an impulsive decision, or the salesperson steer them to a vehicle that is wrong vehicle. But they trusted the salesperson recommendation. Right? I do believe that the industry need to change. And I know there's a lot of influencers working on that right now in the US and in Canada. So I am putting something together because I see a vision, and I'm gonna follow my vision to change how the industry works, or at least to be a voice to consumers, to ensure that consumers are getting the right deal, the fair deal. Dealerships are not being greedy in how they do business, and what's said behind closed doors. It's a battle. It is a big battle, and I'm willing to go in this battle. Now, I still want to build relationships with, obviously, I am for the consumer. I'm an only advocate for the consumer, not for the dealership. I'm not a broker. The broker gets paid by the dealership, and they facilitate deals. I don't do that. I never mention a dealership name in my videos. I've helped my friends bought used and new cars from dealerships. I'll never mention a dealership name because I don't know what this dealership will do to the next customer. So my goal, my vision is getting you in the right vehicle, getting you the best deal, making sure your needs are met, saving you time. Now money will come. Sometime you'll save money, sometime you will not save money. But you're gonna get into the right vehicle. You're gonna make sure you're getting the right deal. You're not overpaying at the salesman desk or at the finance manager desk. This is what I'm gonna ensure. I'm gonna work for, I'm gonna strive for. That you're not overpaying. By researching, by making calls, by getting in touch with my connections in the industry, to ensure that you're getting the right deal. And buying a car is the next big purchase in your life after buying a home. If you don't have a home, your biggest asset, what you own, is a car. If you don't have a home, or gold or silver, or your car, you want to make sure you're not losing thousands of dollars. You're not signing money away. That's it for today. I hope my video was helpful. I'm Sharif from DRVAWAY Negotiation Desk. You guys have a great evening.